Welcome back, folks, to the next instalment of the race to the Premiership, and today we're going to be having a look at Arsenal from Tier 10 to the Premiership. How long has it taken them, or are they at the Premiership just yet? And those of the sharpest eyes amongst you will already discover at the top of the screen Arsenal first in the Sky Bet Championship. Now, we've run 10 seasons. It's going to be pretty much the standard, because the minimum time you can make it to the Premiership is literally 9 seasons. We've run 10 seasons now, and Arsenal are just winning the league in the Championships, which suggests they could have made it in 10 seasons, but we'll find out exactly what happened in season 9 though. So first of all then, we're going to have a look at the domestic competitions and see. I mean, that line looks very, very quick as well up through the tiers, as it didn't let me do that. So looking at where they started off, so because they're in the south, Arsenal, they start off in the Southern Combination Division 1 League right at the very bottom. We can see straight away for the first 5 seasons they hadn't lost a game, which seems pretty damn good actually, right up to the Vanarama South. So if we have a look in the first one, 30 games out of 30, maximum points, 36 from 30. They didn't even concede a goal actually, looking at it as well in the in Tier 10, which is absolutely phenomenal when you think what they did in the Premier League the season before we dropped them right down. But 134 goals, none against. Then they conceded 1 in the next one. Is that the right one? Yeah, 36 from 36, so 6 more games, just the one conceded. Then 37 from 38, they drew 1 and then drew another 1. So they're managing to get to the Vanarama South and Vanarama National without losing a game, which is quite phenomenal stuff. Scoring a few goals along the way, but it has been diminishing each season. So 134, it did get up to 136, then dropped to 124, 107, 96, not quite getting 100 there. But points tally, they are maxing out the points, over 100 points. And even in League 2, you can see there's 7 losses from 46 games. They did lose 3 games in the Vanarama, but they still finished first. They still finished first in League 2, which is quite good. And League 1, that's something that some of the clubs didn't quite manage, is to win straight back-to-back league titles. I think it's 8 in total. Then they finished 3rd in the Championship. Now that obviously is not automatic promotion place. Did they? We'll have a look, see if what happened in the playoffs, because they didn't go through, but they do win their 9th title, but they've done it in 10 seasons. Let's have a look, see what damage that has done to their bank balance. And they have 315 million in the bank, 74 million transfer budget, and you know what? They've doubled their wage budget as well. So whether that's all in preparation for their life in the Premiership, but for the first time, I think we're not going to see how they, after 10 seasons, how they're not going to be in the Premiership. Man City, it took them 11 seasons to get there, so it's taken them 1 less. Arsenal, though. Finances really haven't taken that much of a hike, I don't think. It's been pretty high up to this point here. So let's have a look at how well they've done in the leagues. And so if we just take it back to the very beginning. So the first season, they were in Europe, don't forget. The couple of friendlies there, but they started off pretty decent. They did lose a game against Ludogorets, 3-2, but who did they play in the Sheriff Tiraspol? No idea who they are. Granada they played as well, but other than that, they played pretty decently. They lost to Fleetwood in the FA Cup 3rd round, which is quite surprising. I'm assuming Fleetwood were around about League 2, I guess. But even so, to lose on penalties is pretty harsh, and they still didn't concede a goal in full 120 minutes. So in fact, they didn't. The only goals they conceded were in the cup games, actually, to be perfectly honest. And in Europe, quarter-final Europa League, they lose a game there against PSV, but they still go through on away goals. They make it to the final by looks of things as well. They make it to the FA Vars final, 4-0, beating Hadley. And the Europa League final, they lose to Napoli 2-0. Carry on the ludicrous form in the league, not conceding a goal and just scoring for fun. Lacazette, I mean, it'd be interesting to see, just on Lacazette alone, how many, he's retired now by looks of things. He stayed with him for a few seasons, then went to Leicester on a free, but 4 goals in 2 games in the tier 10, 17 in 18 there, and hasn't really done much after that. I'm quite disappointed about that. I would have expected him to do a little bit better than that. Following season, let's have a quick look at exactly what they've been doing there as well. Just a few friendlies this time, but they are making their way without a loss all the way down until January, which they're losing the FA Cup third round once again, this time to Sheffield United. And working their way down, more wins. FA, did they, by winning the Europa League, did they not go... they lost to the Europa League, didn't they? I thought they won it. Sorry, I remember now. FA Vars fan, they're losing the final to Bury. 1-0. So disappointing there. Once again, they start off very, very well in the pitch in Northern Premier Division 1 Northwest. And for some reason, they all end up in this division. Not sure how that's kind of worked out. A long streak of wins. They make it to the FA Cup 5th round this time, losing to Man United on penalties. They get to the final again in the FA Vars, this time winning against Skelmersdale 2-0. This time they start off pretty well in the pitching in Southern Premier Central. I think this is the league before the National South and North, I guess. A lot of wins in there. I don't think there's any big teams really. Did they Hull? They beat in the FA Cup 3rd round there. Did they make Barnsley? They win in the FA Cup. Reading in the 5th round even. They're making their way all to the finals. Northern Premier Cup final. They win that 3-0. They beat Stoke in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. They're getting right to the final. They make it to the FA Trophy final once again. They lose to Chelsea in the FA Cup semi-final, so that's unlucky. But they do win in the Build Base final. Let's just have a quick look at the past winners. Yeah, they've won about 4 seasons on the bounce, which is quite phenomenal. This trophy. Looks like all the big clubs do win that one quite easily, and 90,000 people there as well. Same as the FA Cup final, so there's no distinction between the two. They beat Dagenham and Redbridge, by the way. Again, they start off with wins all across the board. A couple of draws in there, as you would in the Vanarama South. We know how they finish up in this. But they're losing the FA Cup quarter-final this time to Brighton. But they do make it to the final once again, beating FC United in the 1-0 trophy final. So let's carry on to the following season. That's any big major shocks there. I guess there isn't. There's no big scores going through. So, have they lost all their players by now? So they're in the Vanarama National. They lose their first game against Scunthorpe. FA Trophy, they're still bouncing through that. FA Cup first round, they beat Crawley. Second round, Wigan. FA Cup, a few FA Cups there. We've got Cardiff and Stoke, beating Stoke once again. They lose in the FA Cup 5th round this time to Coventry, which is quite surprising. But they do make it all the way to the final, I guess, in the FA Trophy. Yeah, Eastleigh, they're in the semi-finals, and then beating Oldham 2-0 in the final. Right, okay, we're moving on to League 2 now. There's a few losses in here. Fleetwood, Swindon, straight off the bat, so they didn't get off to the best of starts. But they're in this Papa John's Trophy, which I'm probably not expecting them to win that or even be bothered about it, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, Ipswich, they lose. They're still in. Another couple of losses, Barnsley, Chesterfield, so the teams are getting a slightly bit harder. And I'm assuming they haven't got the quality of players like they did have right at the very beginning. They're in Papa John's still. FA Cup first round, they beat Buckland. Then they beat Barrow, so a couple of easy teams. They lose in the 3rd round to Wimbledon. 2-2 after penalties. Wrexham in the FA Cup 3rd round. Crystal Palace 4th round. And Aldershot in the FA Trophy. So they're still going strong in that one. We know they win it. But they lose to Coventry again in the FA Cup. Surprisingly. I think they would have learned from the last time they played them. And then obviously the Builder Base FA Trophy final. Beating Telford this time 2-0. Right, we're coming towards the end of the fixtures as well. So we're League 1 now. Again, a lot more colours on here. But they finished first, which is quite surprising. They had got off to a really bad start, actually. A lot of bad starts in here. So a couple of losses there. Barnsley, Walsall. There's Crawley as well. FA Cup first round, Farsley. They played Accrington. Southampton, they lose 4-0 to in the 3rd round of the FA Cup. And the Papa John's Trophy quarter final. This time they lose on penalties to Portsmouth. And that is about it. I don't think there's any FA Trophy in there. I'm assuming that's because then there's Papa John's thing, which I don't think anybody's really particularly bothered about. So we get to the Championship in the first season then, where they finished 3rd. Very, very colourful. a lot of colourful stuff there, and they lose to West Brom in the second round of the Carabao Cup. They're still in the Papa John's Trophy. I didn't think they were still in that when you get to the Championship. Maybe I'm mistaken. They lose to Bristol Rovers in the group stages there. They lose to Swansea. Crawley beat them in the third round of the Papa John's, and they lose to Burnley in the FA Cup fourth round. A couple of more losses. Look at them losses. They lose to Forest as well, 2-1. Ipswich once again. Everton are in there. What are Everton? I would just need to have a quick look, because maybe I may have gone wrong once again. Let's have a quick look. Actually, no. Everton did get relegated from the Premiership. I think that's the first time in their history. They did get relegated, but they bounced straight back though. So hence why Everton are in there then. Wow, that's quite surprising. I'm shocked at that. I thought I may have made a boo-boo once again. But no, not this time. Everton just seem to, they just seem to be there. It's just a coincidence, isn't it? But yeah, they get relegated the pre-season before, bounce straight back. But yeah, there's a lot of losses in there. FA Cup, yeah, they're no longer in the Cups. But they do lose over 2 legs to Bristol City, no less, in the semi-finals. So they're beating Arsenal, and then they beat Middlesbrough in the finals. They go into the final season, then season 10, where they got promotion through finishing top. So they're in the Carabao Cup. They're losing the third round to Tottenham 2-0. So I don't think they would have been happy about that. But I think priority for them would have been the winning the league and getting promoted, I guess. They lose to Leeds in the third round. So nothing else more to concentrate on. Just to get through the Championship, win all the games, and they obviously did that. Right, moving along to the transfers then. Let's have a quick look at what they did. So they didn't bring anybody in unless they got any free transfers or what have you. But £62 million sold. So Rob Holding, Flores, Willock, Emil Smith-Rowe, Papastaphylopoulos. I love that name. Just can't pronounce it. Socrates. He went in the first season. He's now head of youth development. Callum Chambers, who went for 29 million to Bristol City, 100,000, 20 million for Ainsley Maitland-Niles. The following season, the £47 million brought in Johnny Evans on a free. Wow, that is surprising. Maybe he's more suited down to the lower leagues then, I guess. Let's put this in some sort of order, some big ones there. Anybody? Rudiger from Chelsea, £11 million. Chalobah, £7 million. Did anybody bring anybody else in? Rob Holding, they brought him on loan from Liverpool. Let's have a look at some big transfers. Thomas Partey, he went to Porto. How well did he do? He looks very solid though. So the one season in the low leagues, he's probably not happy. Expecting to play in the Premiership, and then found himself in Tier 10. Yeah, I bet he wasn't impressed one little bit, so demanded a transfer straight out. Poor Thomas Partey, didn't really get a chance in the Premiership. Reece Nelson, he went to Norwich for 24 million. Let's see how he's 30 years old. That's still pretty good stats though, to be fair. He had one season in the low league, and yeah, again another player that demanded some transfer there. But Rudiger, I'm sure they brought him in, didn't they? 11 million. Realised where he was playing, and then he went for 23. So that's a bit of business turnaround there. Joe Willock, £18 million as well. Bellerin, he went to Inter Milan for 12 million. Nikisha, Pepe, 10 million there. Yeah, a couple of big players. Johnny Evans going to Celtic for £1.9 million. I thought he came on loan. It was a free transfer. Okay. Interesting. Right, the following season then, it looks like they didn't bring anybody in unless they're free. £77 million spent. Let's have a quick look at who these are then. Saliba up to 28 million. Kearney goes to West Brom for 17. Leno, the goalkeeper, goes to Dortmund for 16.5 million. Kirk goes to Newcastle then, so a lot of teams picking up some of these guys. Following season after that, they spent 52 million. Anybody in particular? 60 million on Breathaway. Minamino from Liverpool, £15 million. George Evans from Derby. A couple of players from Derby actually. There's about £5 million worth. Did they probably spent some more? United, they bring in 120,000. Reece Devine. They sell 59 million. So they're breaking even in the bank. Crystal Palace get Martinelli for 20 million. Leeds get Guendouzi for 17. Jamie Cox. Chalobah, he went to Fulham for 2. Dean Henderson, they're bringing. That is the straight away of just Dean Henderson. Wow, he's 33 years old. Looks very good though, doesn't he? £27 million he's worth though. So he only stays at one season though. Wow, in the Vanarama National, obviously not his cup of tea. Only conceding 5 goals though, so it's not too bad. 10 clean sheets, very nice indeed. Then he's gone to Italy where he's not doing that particularly well. Ferran Torres from Man City, they get on loan and they get somebody from Fleetwood. So £37 million going out then. Who's the Jamie Cox, Minamino, Kolasinac, Braithwaite and Cedric as well. £43 million the following season has been spent to bring players in. I'm not sure. Bernardo from Southampton, Sam Greenwood from West Brom, a couple of players from Liverpool, Plymouth, and yeah, not bad at all. So they're not big signings. They're £25 million spent there. Zach Stefan, he goes to Wolves. He's 35 years old, goalkeeper. 2 seasons, came on a free, so they get a little bit of money for him. Not too bad. 8 goals conceded in 20. That's pretty decent, and he hasn't done too particularly well at Wolves though. And the rest of them are a couple of youngsters. Moving on, lots of loanies and some free transfers in there. Not sure if anybody knows who some of these are, but I don't know. But £119 million has gone out the other way. Robin Koch, I'm not going to say it. Palaversa, some of these. Obafemi, go to Crystal Palace. Leicester bring in Tyrese John-Jules. Dean Henderson, we know. Terraria goes to Ajax. Geldart goes to Bayern, Leverkusen that is, and a couple of other. Bernardo, Leipzig for $2 million. So they do still get a bit of business going, selling some of the old players. The following season then, so it looks like they are just about getting ready. $6 million, but there's not much. Spend 25 grand net income there on transfers. It's not great, is it? £6 million spent. Who did they let go? McLaughlin to Forest for $5.5 million. That's about it. Matt Downing. So look at the teams that they're actually dealing with. So none of the big ones. Everton, Adam Steele on loan, but that's about it. No big players coming from the bigger teams or the Premiership. Anybody really of notes going? Not really. I'm not sure any. Geth Wilmot. Not sure why that should ring a bell, but again, they're dealing with teams who are a lot lower than them. Championship then. So obviously it looks like they're spending big trying to get to the Premiership though. So £147 million. Callum Wayne, he scored. They get him for $40 million. Who is he? A centre midfielder. I don't know. Looks alright. He's still with them though. 4 goals and 27, 5 assists. Okay, stats say otherwise, I guess. Leonardo from Southampton. Chukwu from Everton. So it looks like they're preparing for the Championship. A couple of players from Norwich as well. PSG as well. Julian Herrera. Nice. Clint Eastwood. Sorry, no, it's Jake from Peterborough. A couple of free transfers there as well. Part exchanges. Again, another player from Everton there. Chelsea and Liverpool in there. Wow. So they're looking to build. Gabriel goes to Burnley for up to £23 million. And then really another player that's gone and the rest of them out on loan. So the season that they do go up in the end, £91 million spent. Who did they spend it on? Ideo from Man City, Ball from Burnley. They're the 2 major ones. So let's have a look at this one. He's on the... Wow, he looks pretty decent. Oh, yes, indeed. Let's have a look how well he did. Not too bad, actually. 5 goals, 3 assists in 16 appearances. That's pretty decent. And the other one as well, which is a Dan Ball. Yeah, central defender. So... a lot of 20s in there I did see though. 29, 30 million. Yeah, pretty decent for a centre-back. £10 million there. So they are preparing for the Premiership and this is the team that actually made it up there then. We'll have a look at the squad in just a second. So £87 million coming the other way. So Bennett's gone to Southampton, £42 million. They've got Jones, Tulo. Some of these players, we're not sure exactly who these are. But yeah, Dobbin from Harry Potter. The elf. Just out of curiosity. 6 foot, he's not an elf. So now we know that they've made it to the Premiership. We don't know exactly what position they are going to be after the first season, but I suppose it doesn't really matter at this point. Let's have a look at their current squad then. This is going to be interesting because I don't know anybody. Jake Eastwood and God, they've got 4 goalkeepers though. Let's just double check. Yeah, it is the senior squad though. So there's a lot of players, my word. So the season's just finished. I've got no idea who some of these are. Some of you guys, Matt Downing, I don't know. I just thought Downing, saw the name and thought, oh, Downing. Don Ball, Callum Wink, the Diarta, Julian Herrera is still there. I mean, they haven't got a strong squad. I'll be intrigued to see if we were carrying it on just a few more years, where they would finish. Because judging by that side, they probably would get relegated. I'm not going to lie. But they could prove me wrong. Vincent Rivera, again. Yeah, a lot of players out on loan. They've got on loan. And Chukwu from Everton, I believe. But that is about it. There's not many players that really stand out. 22 goals from Leonardo this season. Wow, he looks pretty decent. He's 5'7", and he's got a 16 finishing. How long's he been there? Okay, not prolific, but he's got the job done though, I guess. Yeah, so that's the side so far. Let's have a look at the manager history then. So Arteta is still in charge. Ignore myself on top like I do with any other. With the other ones, I just come in to have a look at see the financials and everything else. But Mikel Arteta is still in charge. 9 wins, 11 cup wins. That's very nice indeed. Over his 10 years, I'm sure they're loving that. He's had an 81% win percentage, and that will help him from the lower leagues where he's got 100%. So yeah, pretty decent there. And finally, we'll have a look at Leonardo got top goal scorer and best player in the league and most assists in the league. He's the striker, most player of the matches in the league as well. Amazing, absolutely amazing. But if we just have a quick look at the team detail stats, I believe it is, and if we go straight down to the bottom and just have a look at the salary, where that, yeah, exactly, £58 million. I'm not sure that's going to be what Premiership is, but £58 million, where would that get you in the Premiership? Not very far. In fact, that probably sit you around about near the bottom. So judging what everybody else is spending in the Premiership, they need to be spending a lot more than that. And as it stands, it's Chelsea on top with 267 million. So that does move them into 4th position in the table, ahead of Man City. Man City moved to the very bottom, unfortunately. There's 2 more teams to come, like I say. Spurs are going to be up next. We'll see that. And then we'll finish off this little mini-series with Leicester. I was going to do the full Premiership teams, but judging how some of these have struggled in the Championship, I don't think it'd be a good idea to see how long it will take the rest of the teams to get through, because I would assume they would struggle. Be intriguing to see Everton there. I must admit, one of the longest standing teams in the Premiership. But if there's any other teams you want me to have a look at, then please let me know and then add it to the list. But for the time being, Arsenal, 10 seasons, 9 league wins along the way, moving to 4th position, and that's where we're going to end it. So if you enjoyed that, please pop a like on there. If you'd like to see more new to the channel, please subscribe, and until next time, folks, thank you very much for watching. Thank you.